if we consider that awareness to be spiritual, then we've immediately limited ourselves in terms of resting as awareness, because awareness is beyond all extremes, both the spiritual and the non-spiritual. So we can't really take up a position anywhere. There aren't any reference points in awareness because it's pure like space. All the points of view that appear are the dynamic energy of awareness and nothing else. When we admit responsibility just in a simple way for all the points of view that appear, and then our capacity to rest as awareness when they appear, then we begin to see that all these things we've been worried about, like the I and the personality and the ego and getting rid of these things, that all these are just appearances of awareness. The I, the ego, the personal identity, they're points of view within awareness and nothing else. There's no ego that has an existence that is independent of awareness. There's no personality that has an existence that is independent of awareness. There's no one who needs to be fixed. There never has been anything like that. When we say that that's true, then we immediately limit our ability to realize awareness, because we're saying that there's something in between awareness and our ability to realize it, that there's this figure in there that's somewhere that exists apart from awareness. So whenever we establish causes, effects, and conditions for resting as awareness, it greatly and gravely limits our ability to rest as awareness. Nothing is required. If we wanted to talk about awareness in a very, very simple way, another simple way, we could just say it's the optimal way of being human. We don't have to call it a philosophy or study any books to learn what it is, and we don't have to say that it's religious or spiritual or anything else. It's simply the way of being human, the ease of being human. It's never been tied to any conventional frameworks or descriptions whatsoever. When we just rest as the awareness that's simply naturally present right here, whereby we all sit here together and our minds are all totally free like space, then we know what awareness is. And that's what we rest as repeatedly for short moments, repeated many times until it becomes entirely automatic. Whatever appears, it is not an obstacle. It is not a foe. It is not problematic in any way. The problematic nature of points of view only is if we start to say, oh, this is a good point of view and that's a bad point of view, and I have to get a lot more good points of view and get rid of my bad points of view. When we start to discriminate and accept and reject what appears, then it's impossible to rest. Because why? We're so busy accepting and rejecting. But then we don't have to start a practice of not accepting and rejecting. That's not what we're doing. We're just resting as awareness, and inherent to resting as awareness is the resolution of acceptance and rejection of what appears. The single non-dual expanse is truly single and non-dual. It's never been tied up anywhere. The confusing city of points of view has already been entirely emptied. There have never been any residents there. So to just rest as awareness, we realize more and more that all there is this pristine, natural space that is inclusive of everything. And when I say natural, I mean entirely natural. No special language is needed. We don't have to stop saying we or I or my or mine or anything. Everything is completely natural and spontaneous. It's called the natural state because it is natural, very natural, spontaneous, free, loving, totally open to everything that appears in life with no need to say, oh, this one's beneficial and that one's harmful, and so I have to stay with the beneficial points of view and get rid of the harmful points of view. When we just rest as awareness, then we abide as that which is completely beyond benefit and harm, completely beyond cause and effect, not tied up anywhere, not tied up to any beliefs, no matter what they are. And in that is the great spontaneity of entirely beneficial wisdom that is inseparable from awareness. If we keep relying on causes and effects and conditions, then we destroy ourselves. We destroy our natural ability to relax. And so, wherever we go, if people say, oh, in order to realize awareness, then you must rely on certain things in order to do that, that just isn't true. It really isn't true. Who we are is extremely easy to access and live as. It's extremely easy. What only is has to be easy, right? How could it possibly be so difficult? But somehow, seemingly, it has become difficult, only in the way that it's described by many people. But throughout all of humankind, for who knows how long, at least 17,000 years that we know of, this very essential practice, resting imperturbably as awareness, stretches, just this practice, it stretches like a chain of golden mountains from one generation to another. This is the epitome of all practices of understanding our true nature. And it's the practice that is accompanied by unerring instruction, so that we always know the practical know-how of how to rest, no matter what appears. So this is something that can be counted on without fail, in the same way that millions of people throughout time have realized the full evidence of timeless wisdom awareness that is the nature of their being through this simple practice. To rest as awareness for short moments, repeated many times until it becomes spontaneous.